One of the best items that I got this past year is this tiny piece of tech that I honestly believe is absolutely essential in any small home, and this little device can essentially save you from needing an entire piece of storage furniture. This product I'm talking about is an ADF or automatic document feed scanner, and the one that I'm using is from Fujifilm named the ScanSnap IX1300, which I actually first heard about when reading Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek several years back. And after putting off investing in one of these for what seems like ages now, earlier this year I finally took the plunge. What this device does is allow you to do multiple double-sided scans at speed. So earlier this year, over the course of a single afternoon, I managed to pretty much eliminate my entire filing cabinet of paperwork. I personally find that there are few things more painful than sorting through a mountain of papers to find one crucial document, but now all of my paperwork is instantly searchable from my desk by going digital. And now, whenever a new important document comes through, I simply run it through this thing and it wirelessly sends it to my PC, titled and dated using the information that it's managed to pull from the page, making my whole filing system almost effortless. What's great about this thing is that it's so small that once you're done, you can easily shove it in a cupboard and pull it out next time you need it, saving you the need of owning and interacting with a bulky filing cabinet at a not too dissimilar cost. And this makes it, hands down, one of my favorite minimalist tech products that I currently own. One of the most frequently used items in our home has to do with food, and this product has almost completely eliminated the necessity of eating breakfast for me, saving me time and making me healthier in the process. Of course, the item I'm talking about is the NutriBullet, and since having had breakfast smoothies for what seems like years now, after much trial and error, I have to say that this is easily the very best solution that I've stumbled across, as it's compact and light, meaning that it can be hidden and put away, and it's just as powerful as some of the larger blenders that I've used too. However, the NutriBullet allows me to free up valuable counter space and eliminate the clutter of a larger blender without experiencing any of the setbacks to how our smoothies taste. And because my wife Nisha and I don't particularly enjoy doing the dishes, we simply drink out of the cup that it's made in, which makes cleanup ridiculously easy when compared to your typical big and bulky blender jug. This 900-watt Pro model is used by our entire family, and we found it absolutely amazing for filling our 1-year-old daughter with healthy calories first thing in the morning, where her and I usually share an oat, fruit and spinach smoothie, while Nisha makes up herself a frothy coffee protein frappe to start the day. And I have to say that over time, this has saved us countless hours when compared to chomping down all of these healthy ingredients separately. And personally, I think that it makes leafy greens like spinach and kale a lot more tolerable too. Now, when it comes to health and comfort, air quality is a little known facet of design that is often overlooked, as the building that you're in right now likely has a bunch of air-related considerations like heating, cooling, and humidity taken care of behind the scenes to stop you from getting sick. But as the buildings that we live in don't always cover everything and they're not always 100% foolproof, you can actually take your indoor air quality into your own hands with devices such as air purifiers, dehumidifiers, and humidifiers to control pollutants and humidity depending on where you live in the world. This year we picked up an air purifier from Levoit, one of those. But it's called the 400S, and it's big enough to purify our entire apartment and smart enough to show us the fluctuations in air quality during the day, where it even gives us readings from pollutant spikes when we're doing things like cooking or cleaning. So when living in a polluted city like London, or a place that often suffers from wildfire smoke like here in Vancouver, this is a great way to make sure you're in control of what you're taking into your lungs, as you may be surprised by how much these things can impact your health over the long run. However, other than air quality, the next thing worth considering is air humidity levels, as too much humidity can often lead to damp and mold, and too little can leave your airways and skin feeling irritated and dry, which isn't really that great if you suffer from eczema or asthma. Here in Vancouver, we've had to make quite an adjustment as we found the winters here to be quite dry, whereas back in London, they're far more damp, which is often a big problem in older homes as they're often poorly insulated, meaning that mold and condensation on windows is a constant battle, unless you choose to have your heating on at full blast with a window open, which is a little bit counterintuitive. So back in London, the solution that we found for ourselves was to get a dehumidifier, which can really help if you have plants or you often find yourself drying clothes indoors because of course it's raining outside. But here in Vancouver, because it's so dry, we've even been considering getting ourselves a humidifier. However, you won't really be able to know any of this for certain unless you have some sort of humidistat to tell you. And by simply picking up this one, that's both a thermometer and a kitchen clock too, it's confirmed our suspicion as to why we've all been suffering from such dry skin recently. Now obviously when sharing a small space, it often means that you're in close proximity to others, meaning that you're also subject to any noise that they make too. And despite sounding a little bit dramatic, I would not be able to live without my noise cancelling headphones, as they basically allow me to transport myself to a world of silence whenever I need to. I've had these Bose NC700s since early 2020 now, and I think that personally they're the best looking headphones on the market, and they're still easily in the top 5 when it comes to performance too, despite being over 3 years old now. I think likely because of this, they've barely changed in price since the day that I bought them, and mine still work just as well as they did to begin with, despite some significant wear to the earpads. So in my mind, considering how much I use them, this makes them a great investment, and around this time of year, you can often spot these or other similar noise cancelling headphones on sale too, and despite them seeming like a bit of a luxury item, I've honestly come to find them as something that I really depend on from day to day. Now, although this next item is not necessarily tech, it can often replace it at a much smaller size too. And as a designer, when it comes to making coffee, like most things in life, I'm looking for the most efficient solution in a product that provides the maximum benefit at the lowest possible cost in the most convenient of packages. As a long-time coffee drinker, my at-home experience with bean-to-cup machines, drip coffee machines, pour-overs, French presses, and in desperate times, even instant coffee, none of them are anywhere near as good or convenient as what I've found you can get with the AeroPress, as it's cheap to buy, portable, consistent, fast, and easy to clean. Not to mention the fact that it makes absolutely incredible tasting coffee if you get it right. I rarely see these things on sale, but I will tell you now, if you know someone who likes coffee and doesn't have one of these, they will absolutely love it. And even if they don't choose to use it from day to day, it's a great device to be able to take with you on holiday or when away for a weekend, as it means that you can take your own coffee with you, instead of depending on those horrible instant sachets that you often find in a lot of Airbnbs and hotel rooms. However, if you do already own one of these and you do want to make your at-home coffee taste even better, we invested in a temperature-controlled kettle, digital scale, and burr grinder. And honestly, the coffee that you can get out of a simple setup like this is arguably the best tasting, fastest, and most compact bang for your buck physically possible. And if you guys think you know of a better one, you can fight me about it down in the comment section. Now, when it comes to desk setups in small homes, one of the best ways that I've found to simplify and declutter is through the addition of a light bar, as they free up space on your desk that you'd otherwise need for a task lamp, whilst camouflaging themselves with the monitor. I have to say that I was really skeptical about these at first, but when I got BenQ's Screen Bar Halo earlier this year, I absolutely fell in love, as it's dimmable and color temperature adjustable from a wireless touch controlled dial that's on the desk, and it's powered via USB from the back of the monitor too, which means that there's one less cable to think about plugging into an outlet. So I got gifted this one, and it definitely isn't cheap, but you can get pretty much the exact same thing from a brand called Kuntis on Amazon for half the price, which is actually what I recommended to my brother-in-law for his setup. And despite my BenQ light bar having the added bonus of a dedicated webcam mounting point, most webcams actually sit on top of these pretty comfortably anyway, which really was the only reason that I put off getting one of these for so long, as I was worried where I was going to put my webcam. However, if you're a tech-focused person rocking a mirrorless camera or a smartphone setup for your webcam, along with key lights and a mic for calls or streaming, I also recently discovered that you can get VESA monitor shelves to attach all of these things onto, which also make for an incredibly compact solution that will sit above your monitor, saving you from a bunch of clutter that will end up sitting on or around your desk. And lastly, the other affordable tech essential for small homes are floor lamps, table lamps, and smart bulbs, as these can work wonders with the harsh and bland lighting that often comes with our homes. There are definitely loads of affordable smart lighting systems that you can go with these days, which allow you to control and adjust the bulbs in your home through Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, making it really easy to dim, brighten, and even change the temperature of the lighting that's in your home through one or multiple smart switches. We use IKEA's TRADFRI system, and so far we've thoroughly enjoyed using it. However, there are a bunch of alternatives that you can choose from, which all vary so much in what they can do and how they look. But when it comes to picking the lamps themselves, I'm a really big fan of these bare bulb fixtures, as they're super affordable and dismantleable, whilst letting you get really creative and intentional with the size and type of bulb that you choose to pair it with. But despite not being particularly fond of the rampant spending and advertising that takes place around this time of year, I am all for saving money on items that are truly essential or at least helpful in genuinely improving your life in some way for the better, whether that's with health, time, or by saving you money in the long run. So hopefully you guys found the products in this video helpful and timely, and if you did, make sure you're subscribed and check out the full list of these items down in the video description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.